Today we talk about resistance training, the benefits that I think is one of the most basic things, and we connect with functional training as well, with the dynamic movements that we have to start, in the class, and also, the cool down. We forget that, the cool down.
Oh yeah, cool down.
Hello Warriors, ¿cómo están chicos? Bienvenidos una vez más a Pochotrainer Podcast, and today I'm with Maurice Johnson. What's up, brother?
What's going on, man? All right, good to see you again.
Nice to have
All
you.
right, great to be here. Talking some real cool stuff.
So what is all about? Today we're gonna go into fitness. As a group fitness instructors, actually, we're gonna share a little bit. So Maurice is a Spartan race guy.
Yep.
Conditioning, training, all about that motivational, inspirational kind of bootcamp guy. That was the perfect description, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I cover all bases, but that's primarily my main area of expertise.
Yes, and just a little bit your background. So you're a personal trainer, group fitness.
Mm-hmm.
Spartan race coach. What else?
So in addition to those, all right. So go over the basics. Personal trainer, all right. Group fitness instructor, Spartan race coach. Also, I'm a behavior change specialist and a mindset coach, and I'm also a health and wellness coach. So I have several other avenues that I play around with too, and I put all those things together in my profession.
Awesome. That's awesome. I think. That's kind of like the foundation I feel right now, like every instructor has to have. Not all of those, because you're special. You are special, bro. You're special. You did like different work. Yeah. But I feel like each instructor get into a different pattern, right? A different path. Just an example, bar classes is like ballerinas, or yoga instructors, maybe, they just find the path, to get into that discipline, okay?
Right.
So
yeah, I believe that but all the things that we're going to talk about, each instructor, no matter what the discipline is, they should know.
Yes, it's the basics, I think. So as a group fitness personal trainer, if you are working with people, with human beings, I think you have to have the basics.
Right.
Of anatomy, physiology, resistance, basic concepts, and actually understand what's happening in your own body in order to share with a client, instructor in a class, or using just the cues, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, it's an amazing tool. And the more knowledge you have, I feel like it's better, right? Mm-hmm. So you can actually...
You have a lot more to play with when you have a good foundation of these different topics, these different ways of thinking and utilizing these tools, so...
I think it's more like connection, right? So
for sure.
You find a way how to connect, because as a group fitness, always we have a lot of people in the class, and to me it's a whole experience, because I'm from South America, I'm an Ecuadorian guy, I'm a Latino, and sometimes being surrender of people from all over the world. Sometimes I have people from Asia, here, Westchester, U.S. people. And not just that, people from different areas here, the Bronx, Queens, it's just different ethnicities, right?
Yeah, you have to be able to connect with all these different people. So there's always a universal language, one way, shape, or form. And that universal language is usually the energy that we project.
That's awesome, bro. It's energy. That's awesome. Yeah, sometimes it's pretty tough for us, because we actually connect, right? So we feel a little bit of that people's energy based on their body sometimes, right?
Right. Their body language tells us what's going on and what's not, whether they're enjoying their experience or they're not enjoying their experience. And everyone knows it. They'll see somebody do a certain thing, they'll be like, oh, this is great. You'll see like they'll smile maybe. Yeah. Or if they're not really feeling it, they'll shy away, get really reclusive, I know as in my experience as a trainer, when I stretch people sometimes, which I used to do, I don't really do that much these days now, thanks to COVID. But anyway, there are some people, they won't let go and let their stretch be passive because they're holding on to certain things inside. So they're not able to be free, and you can see that. Thank you, bro.
I think to me over the years on the practice, actually, to me, group fitness, it's been a practice.
Yes. Yeah.
It's been a growth process, just to being in front of people. So some people they can, right?
Yeah.
So just to be in front of 10, 5, or just maybe 2, 3 people in front of you, and just to be confident to talk or use a microphone, it's just a lot of things, and it's expression is something that we actually put outside from our inside, that we touch from the soul. So what do you think that you used to have, or you have a superhuman soul class?
Something like that. So what I've been historically known for in this area was my program called Superhuman the Class. I've now taken that and changed it into a different program. But going back to that, there was an all-encompassing experience. There was the physical aspect of it. Then it was the mind aspect of it. Then it was the spiritual aspect of it. And with each part of it, the main thing for me was to connect with the room. If I didn't have that connection with the people, I couldn't guide them. I couldn't tell them to do their exact exercises properly. I couldn't communicate with them if I didn't have their attention. So as a group fitness instructor, or as an instructor of any sort, you have to be able to command attention somehow.
Yeah.
And
100%.
I'm naturally an introverted person. I'm quiet for the most part. Whether if you see videos of me teaching, you think you're like, that's a damn lie. But
fucking beast.
It's like I'm out there doing all this other stuff. But when I step away, I go into like a little hole a bit, and just like, all right, let me recover that way. But in the way I taught, I'd study motivational speaking. Yes. I study how to communicate with people, proper things to say, neuro-linguistic programming. The way you say things will trigger a response emotionally, which in turn turns to the physical response, whether someone opens up to you or they close up. Now, if a person closes up, think about when a person closes, you look at their body, they go like this, right? Their spine might round up, they might curl into a ball, they're trying to hide. But if you open someone up, their posture opens up. Their posture opens up, they're open, you can move better, you have more fluidity. You know what I mean? So all those things do come together, and in my classes, that's what I used to foster, letting go of the problems in the person's life to be in that room for one moment in time, and let go, be free, and feel good, so that way they can take some of that energy out and bring it home to their families.
Wow. That's awesome. And you used to do that. I remember, like, clearly, like 50 people sweating, and the last plank, 5 minutes plank. I think, He was like on fire with people in the floor, and he was coaching them. And guys, you have those crazy phrases and like guide meditations, powerful, affirmations, and it's so cool. It's like I say, it's just, I think in a plank position, and the way how those bodies are connected each other with pump and energy and sweat, more he's talking and the whole thing together, I think that's the group fitness.
It is, because you're not alone. You're not by yourself. You're not isolated. You're not on an island. You have somebody to your right, have somebody to your left, somebody in front, somebody behind, and they're all sharing the same common experience. And human beings, if you notice, like, think about, situations that do occur, like the World Cup. People rooting for the team, they may not know the person next to them, but if they're going for Argentina, they're gonna they're gonna feel good about it. That's how it goes, and just like you get the idea. So if everyone's in the same position in the plank and they're all together and they're feeling that energy, they're gonna push out. They're gonna put out more energy as best as they can, because they know there's somebody next to them. That's why I did partner work too. I would have someone look at another person across from them, and they would take their energy would ping pong with each other.
Interaction, but it's not like physically. It's more like even the way how we breathe that moment, I feel is super important, right? Because it's like sometimes you are like even really like couple seconds to cry, right? So it's like I see people crying sometimes, like, but if you feel someone in the side and actually support you, you get that empowerment, right?
Exactly. That's how it goes. You get the empowerment from the person next to you or in front of you. It's just, It just works that way. That's the magic of being in a group. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
That's it. So, but okay, so let me check it out because we have some keywords. We're gonna play with this right now. Okay,
Alright.
so
Bet.
I'm gonna throw something here and we're gonna talk a little bit. Okay, so oh man, I have a lot of things here, but we're gonna start with basic resistance training.
Okay.
What do you think about that world? So just like let's break it down. Let's do it.
All right. So first of all, I believe resistance training is very important, especially as we age. All right. So
Exactly.
I remember being a young boy at some point, and you're just like, yeah, I'm going out there, I'm lifting weights, I'm doing this, not thinking of anything about it. But as I got older, I started to feel little things here and there,
Yeah.
And the muscle starts to break down. Mostly for men after the age of 40, it starts to decline a little bit, maybe around like 1 to 5%, and then it increases as you get older. And
Yes.
it's important to keep that up as you get older, so that way you can have a good, fulfilling life in your other half of your life.
Yes.
If you stop resistance training and you just let yourself go to shit,
You
then
lose.
how are you going to walk up the stairs properly? How are you going to go out and experience your grandchild if you can't pick your grandchild up? So there was this commercial, right? I saw. This is
Come
really
on.
cool. It was an older
That's
guy.
Maurice in action. Let's go.
Yeah. There's this older guy. He had his grandkid, right? And all he wanted to do was pick him or her up. So he found a kettlebell, dusted it off, and every day he would pick up that kettlebell. He would try to pick it up, try to pick it up. And then eventually came in on Christmas. After training so much, he was able to pick up his granddaughter,
Destroy it?
hold her up, and let her put the star on a Christmas tree. And that's what the whole thing is about. It's like, we think that it's about looking good and looking good for IG, and TikTok and all that, but no, it's about being functional. It's about having quality of life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, being able to survive in this environment.
Right.
That actually require a lot of things to do. Is as like you said. So if you stop it, if you lose it, it's more like to use our own machine. Okay, so I think that's resistance training, right?
Yeah, pretty
So,
much. Real simple, keeping it basic for you, without using too many big words.
I have another one here. This is powerful.
All right, what we got?
Dynamic warm-up.
Ooh, okay.
Dynamic. So that word, it's not been in the industry for a while. It's not been used actually. Dynamic.
Yeah, so the dynamic warm-up process, right? There's stretching, right? There's static stretching, passive stretching, right?
Yeah.
And then there's dynamic stretching, dynamic warm-ups and stuff like that. When you start to use your muscles in a certain way, if you just go and do it without warming it up, it leaves you open to injury. If you do a dynamic warm-up, you do a dynamic stretch, let's say you do an exercise like a toy soldier, you kick your leg up, swing your hamstring, swing it up there, you're getting your hamstrings ready to be used. And if you jump into something without the warm-up, then it's just like trying to stretch a cold rubber band. The dynamic warm-up helps your body becomes more functional as you raise the intensity levels up. And so it gives you something to work with.
Yeah.
And instead of just going out there cold. Now, I know this firsthand because I've done things without warm-up, and I'm like, crack, 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 crack. Like, oh.
Yes, I was like, it just sound like
Yeah. Sound like an old school, like a Lego block thing being built or something like that. And then I'm like, all right, so now I got to take time to do the dynamic warm-up my hips and stuff like that. I had lots of strains and pulls and all that stuff, but now it's like, what? If you do the dynamic warm-up, the dynamic stretching,
yeah,
you're clearing yourself some space. I do in my classes. I always do a dynamic warm up, without fail. When I taught Superhuman, it was disguised as a dance, but it was a dynamic warm up.
It was a arroz chaufa. We said that arroz chaufa is like a lot of things together.
Yeah, like a gumbo.
This class, it's like a combo, like resistance training, cardio, a little dancing, boxing, and the last part it was like the motivational speech, right? That was so cool. So going back to the dynamic warm up, I've been trying to teach that way too. Always, because my program is based in martial arts, so we always do the movement. The hips, the shoulders, the neck, each kind of joint has to be active, and also you have to turn it on the machine before to use. And even the muscles, the cardio system has to start to, you have to, switch it on and send information even to your brain and say like, okay, so we're going to start to work out. We're going to turn on our heart, our body, our muscles, and we're going to go for a workout. So that's the mindset, right?
Yeah.
So you have to be ready to sweat, to have fun, and always, I think, with that kind of thinking, because if not, you lose before, and it's going to be painful the whole class.
Yeah, I mean, what you like in your classes, like the movement that you do is preparing you for what's coming up. It's a preview. It's a practice.
Yeah.
And if you're not practicing what you're doing, then you're not going to be very good at it. So it's important for you to do that.
That was dynamic. So the warm-up, but also you can use that in a workout, a regular workout.
I do it all the time. All my workouts are like that.
We're going to go for the next one.
We
Functional training. Functional. So you say something about it,
Okay.
To be functional.
All right, yeah. It's very simple. It's to be functional, right? Think of it as if you have an activity that you're going to do, right? Let's say, like the example I gave about the guy picking up the kettlebell. That's a functional movement. The function is to lift his grandchild up and put the star on the Christmas tree. Likewise, if you're
similar patterns.
Yeah, exactly. So let's say you're going to the grocery store and you got a bunch of groceries in your hand. Guess what you got to do? You got to carry it from the car to the house, right? That's a farmer's carry.
The bags.
There it is. You got that. All right. Or squatting, sitting down. That's a functional movement. Reaching over to the side. That's a functional movement. Anything that you're doing that requires you to move a certain way is a functional movement. And in any exercise, like kickboxing, for example, or kickboxing, martial arts, MMA, all that stuff, the movements you do in those classes and that scenario is all designed for you to be alive and well and function in combat. That's how it goes. You're doing certain sports like football. You do certain drills, it goes to football. You know what I mean? And that's how functional training works. And you can integrate that into group fitness classes. I've done that. I've done exercises where, okay, there's a squat pattern, there's a hinge pattern, right? There's push and pull, right?
Basic,
and then there's a rotation. Yeah, that's all the movements you do. So that's where the functional aspect comes into it. Now, what you don't want to do is overload the functional stuff, because then it becomes less functional, and then you try to make the muscles too big, and then you do that, and it gives you dysfunction.
Wow,
it is.
That's the world. But to me, functional training, it's been my whole life. Practicing gymnastics, then capoeira, then karate. Man. I did parkour, some crazy things. It's, to me, just like I say, a journey where you actually experience different disciplines. And saying that, it's to be able to recognize patterns, I can say. So if you put me in a mode of karate guy, I go karate guy. If you put me a capoeira guy, I get into capoeira guy. If I do parkour, I get into parkour, jiu-jitsu, some other stuff. But I think the functional training is that. So it's you make your body able to play with those patterns, but also to understand the biomechanics, the movements, and eventually with the practice, it gets more into even your mind. And I think it's just more to understand our own being, being on a functional training, because I think the species that we know less, I think it's human beings, right?
And there's a lot to know. There's a lot to know.
A lot. When you get into a fitness world, it's just the first step.
Oh yeah,
it's nothing.
There's so much. So you go into DNA and all that. Oh man, listen.
And then it's just the mind too, right? So it's like nutrition is connected with your mindset.
Yeah.
The workout as well. So
yeah, roger that, bro.
Let's go for the next one. Okay, so what's functional training? Let's go for coordination and balance.
All right, that's on you right there.
That's me.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Okay, long story short, I get injury in my back, so I pinch my sciatica nerve. I get an atrophy in my tibial anterior. So I was with drop foot syndrome. So my foot, it was not functioning. So the tibial anterior actually is that it was like I see videos myself teaching that way, man. So people didn't know that, but I see my hip moving different. It was painful after, but quarantine saved my life, I think, bro.
I get sit down.
Yes, I slow my human being, and I stop. I went to my Ecuador, so I have everything there. So my doctors, chiropractors, Chinese medicine, even my coach, one of my coaches of gymnastics. So we can actually adjust my body, and we get into my own thing, and I just readjust my spine based in running. So I develop other muscles around my leg. I'm not 100% like, moving my foot up, but actually now it's flat, so I can walk.
Yeah.
I remember back in the day, I was just falling all the time and just tapping my leg, my foot. Yeah. But why I say that before? So I get lost.
You're talking about balance.
Balance. Yeah. So I did the research and I get into a functional pattern. So it's like we move as animals, different animals, and the most important thing as best animal ever is our brain, so we can use our brain to figure out things out, and the other is walk and crawling. So that's the base of the human functional pattern. So if you see a kid, like how they start to walk, how they develop the skills step by step, so going for crawling, rolling first, then sitting, deep squatting, standing, and then even walking and then running.
I can see all that soon.
Oh yeah, who is gonna be a daddy?
Yeah, I can see all that soon. Yeah,
congrats, bro, that's awesome.
Yep.
So you see that. I see that in my nieces and my, the kids are around me. So I be always curious. And even the breathing, how they use the belly and everything, the chest expansion and the whole muscles connected around your thoracic cage and everything. So you use everything all the time.
Oh, yeah.
You can disconnect nothing from your bodies, but you don't have that awareness. So to me, the process was to get into my body, to do the research, to connect with my nervous system, to feel the body, breathe, connect, and release my body, and readjust with balance and coordination workout. So that's why I do the surfing stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if you see me using that board.
It makes sense.
And releasing a little bit the muscles in the spine, right?
Yeah.
So it's my therapy. I'm not showing off.
Right. I mean, and it's good because you function at a high level of doing all these other movements, and then
I compensate.
Yeah, you had to compensate to do that, but you were still able to do that. The human body is designed to compensate.
Yeah,
but doesn't make it good. It could bring up pain later on. Trust me, I have my whole fair share of compensation things too.
I think it's balance still.
It is.
It's like and now I'm having fun and working out, but I'm keeping the balance, so I have no pain, just a little. I'm tired, I'm always teaching and working and doing things, but I find balance. It's not pain, so I think that's the secret. I think it's not easy because in order to find balance, you have to be unbalanced.
Right.
So it is. Let's do the next one. And it's gonna be the last one. And I think the favorite one from Maurice, the partner training based in cardiovascular workout. So how you connect those two, cardiovascular and partner workout.
All right, so the basic, now just so you know, all right, for those out there who has this interesting view of cardio, you'll hear people say, oh, I'm going to do cardio because I ate some pie last night, or I had some pork chops and some short. No, you do cardiovascular exercises to strengthen your cardiac muscle, your heart.
El guacho.
Exactly. So if you're doing cardiovascular training, your heart rate is not going to be under 100 beats per minute. It's going to be either from 100 to maybe it might spike at 165, 170 occasionally, depending on what you're doing. Now, where I put this together with partner work is when I want to train the heart mostly, I'll put people up against each other because there's a mind thing that comes along, right? There's a secret competition that happens.
It's a challenge.
So if I have people staring at each other, they're doing star jumps. One person's gonna try to jump as high as they can. The other person's gonna jump as high as they can. They're not gonna stop.
Yeah.
I put them by themselves. They'll slack off because they look at the person next to them now. When they go face to face again, they have somebody that they have to actually deal with, and they have to. And I have them do things. That, okay, do these things. Do as many of these as you can in this amount of time. And so they try to get it done as fast as they can, which in turn jacks your heart rate up, which in turn does what? Makes the heart
Cardio.
stronger, you know? And when your heart gets stronger, you don't huff and puff when you're carrying groceries up the stairs. You don't lose your lunch and you don't vomit if you have to run for a bus or a train. You're able to do that. Now, I don't recommend, ladies, you run in high-heeled shoes because then you end up with this rolled ankle. And fellas, if
I
you
don't
have
know
some,
if there is more girls using that kind of heels.
I don't know. I mean, I've seen it happen. I've seen some stuff. But
Oh my God.
if you're running for something, right, and you've had to run and get away from something, that's where the cardiovascular exercise come into play, right? There's a whole bunch of things about creatine phosphate systems, adenosine triphosphate and all that stuff, and using like the maximum levels and all that. We don't need to get into all that really.
No.
But what happens is, exactly. What happens is you're using your cardiovascular system, you know, your heart pumping the blood and the breathing, the oxygen and all that stuff to get a certain task done. And the stronger your heart is, the stronger your life is, the stronger you're going to become. You know, I used to do my own personal workouts. I used to do a lot of lifting, but then I shifted from doing that to doing more dynamic stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and I found that even if I take a layoff from running like I did for a few months, I went back to running like a couple of days ago.
That's a good point, bro.
Fine.
So to finish this amazing talk, and I'm gonna see you again, bro. So
Of course.
it's the importance to do weights, you know,
Yes.
because we are talking about resistance training. We can get into a lot of reps like squats and things, you know, push-ups, a lot of repetitions. So that's a little more resistance. And the thing is to keep those muscles using it and, you know, being, like you said, functional. And muscles are like another stomach. So muscles help to keep the balance of your weight and also improves your metabolism and a lot of things. Your muscles are, you know, you have to keep those muscles even to do not lose bone density, you know. So it's just gonna keep your body working and even aging, like we talked before. It's part of the a necessity, right?
It is, for sure. You know, your muscles have like mitochondria in it, like the powerhouse cells and all that, and you need to use those things so that you can function.
Mm-hmm.
Your body is one whole machine together. One cannot function without the other. You know, that's just how it is, whether people want to believe it or not. I don't want to use my muscles. I don't want to get all big. No, you use muscles even in yoga. So don't get it
100%.
twisted.
Yeah, so that's pretty much. Today we talk about resistance training, the benefits, that I think is one of the most basic things, and we connect with functional training as well, with the dynamic movements that we have to start, you know, in the class, and also, you know, the cool down. We forget that, the cool down.
Oh yeah, cool down's very simple.
Cool down.
You know, because everything that goes up has to come back down. Cool down is probably one of the most important parts of any fitness activity.
The last part, right?
Yeah, it's the last part, because if you go out of there on a high, then you don't get a chance to like really bring yourself together. Even yoga has a cool down. They have the shavasana, right?
Yeah.
You go and you lay down, and they have this thing that's called, basically, you kind of like it's called a corpse pose. You like die for a moment, and then you come out of it. All right, you're coming back to life and just your regular every day. Inside of like, inside a group fitness class, you come down from being all jacked up and everything. And so that way you're not walking out there.
Yeah.
You gotta,
excited.
Yeah, you got to bring it back down a little bit. And that way, it just works a lot better if you're able to release some stuff. Because if you're going on a high stressful thing all the time, eventually it's going to do you more harm than good.
Yeah. It's just to release your body. And like you said, it's that stage where you go down even your systems, because you are high. You know, your body, your heart is pumping, and even the sensations that you have at that moment are that kind of accomplishment, and also your hormones, the happy hormones are there. You know, so you take your time to inhale, exhale, release yourself. And even in martial arts, what we do, you know, the last part, like you said, in yoga, we have that state that we get into silence and breathing, like a couple minutes. You know, you don't do nothing, but just feel it, your heart, because it's crazy when you finish a karate or whatever other workout. But the last part, the quiet part in Seisa, we call that Seisa. You know, you stay down, closing your eyes, nothing around, just silence. It's amazing because even you can start sweat a little more and feel that energy in your body. And then it's just to be grateful. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
And just put some good intentions to go to the battle the next time. So I think that was it, bro.
That's pretty much it, man.
Thank you for being here. And today was a resistance training. We get into the basics, I think. So how you warm up, dynamic warm up, you know, balance, coordination. I think that's the first phase of to everyone, right?
Yeah.
And then eventually we can get into the next, you know, resistance, hypertrophy.
Yeah.
What else?
Hypertrophy, power,
strength,
and endurance.
Right? So those are super important, and I feel like we can play with those, right? So you don't have to go to the workouts just thinking in cardio. Imagine myself just doing classes. I have to do my workout. If not, I'm gonna lose my mass, I'm gonna injure myself, and I'm not gonna be able to have energy. So muscles are important.
Yeah, they are. I mean, I have a lot of them. You know, I can
see it, but you're not that big like before, man.
No, the biggest I've ever been was 220,
and now
I'm just over 200, but it's different. It's a whole different ball game. I don't know. I'm not like lifting houses and everything. Don't call me to move your couch. I'm not gonna do it.
Mojo, crazy mojo. So, bro, thank you for being here.
Yes, sir.
And how can people follow you? Social media. What do you plan? What are you looking, to do?
So my social media handles. We have Super Spartan Mojo on Instagram, IG. We have Superhuman Soul on IG, and then on Facebook there's Maurice S. Johnson. I do have a TikTok. I'm not really that active on it, so it's just like I think it's Superhuman Soul. Something I don't even remember it. That shows
the TikTok. Okay, come on, you have to get in that, man.
Yeah, there'll be some stuff in there, whatever. But mostly right now, the things I'm focusing on is my program Superhuman X. It's a 4-week experience where people come in and make really big changes in a short amount of time. But it's a really intensive thing. And if you want to know anything about that, just send me an instant message.
That's awesome, bro. Thank you for sharing that.
Yep.
And my name is Francisco. Please, guys, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. I don't put content a lot. I do this because I feel this is my profession as him, so I think we have a little of information, and actually you can find the same information out there, right? YouTube and everything. So it's just our experiences, and I feel that's one of the most important values as a human being, just to experience yourself, to feel everything and be yourself. So, bro, see you next time. Guys, that was it. Pochotrainer Podcast. See you next time. Ciao.